Hey guys, it's John here. Today I want to talk to you about this braised pork belly with orange ginger reduction dish that we put together. Before we get into that though, I would like to say thank you everyone for reading, following, and sharing the blog. It's been awesome. Having an audience is inspiring, and I am absolutely grateful for everyone that's shared it and told me about how it's impacted them. So thank you for that. This can be sort of an intimidating recipe to look at, but it's really super simple and awesomely rewarding. So the way I would do it if I was cooking it at home, I would start with this orange ginger reduction. Literally, you're just going to take everything, put it in a pot. Let it simmer for about like 4 or 5 hours until it's sticky, coats the back of a spoon. And when it gets to that point, you want to strain it and cool it down. Done. Next step, and you can do this while you're making the glaze. Vinaigrette. So the vinaigrette for the cabbage slaw is just a very basic vinaigrette. What you want to do is you'll take all of your ingredients minus the oil, put that into a high-powered blender, start blitzing all of the ingredients on about, like a medium speed, and then slowly add your oil gradually so that it can emulsify. To be honest with you, there's not a lot in this vinaigrette to make it a permanent emulsification, but it'll last long enough that you can toss your cabbage in, and if you let it sit overnight and it breaks, you can just whisk it back together real quick and it'll be perfectly fine. That shouldn't take too long, and that's as easy as blend it, add some oil. The pork belly is a little bit more involved, but again, it's mostly just waiting. You'll take your cooking liquid and mix everything together. You'll add your aromatics, and then you'll take your pork belly. You want to put your pork belly and all that into a cooking vessel that's going to contain all of that. Anytime I do a braise, I don't want to completely cover the protein that I'm braising. So like halfway to about 3/4 full on that braising liquid is perfect. You're going to take your cooking vessel, cover the top with foil, and then put it in a preheated oven. I would cook that for about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours tops. If you run it any longer than that, then you're going to risk ruining the pork. And not in a, oh no, honey, I ruined the pork, but like we want to slice this pork. We don't want it crumbly. So keep it to about 2.5 hours. After that, you can separate the pork from the braising liquid, cool them both separately, and when they're both cool, add them back together. Let that pork marinate in that braising liquid overnight. It's going to be super tasty. When you're ready to, serve this as a whole dish, what you can do is pork belly. It's what we make bacon from, so you can take thick slices. I did about like 1/4 of an inch per slice, and you can brush those with a little bit of your orange glaze, throw those in the oven, broil it for about 3 to 5 minutes, just until the fat starts to render and it starts crisping up and it's heated through. Meanwhile, you can do the cabbage, like the day before, or you can do it right before. It'll hold, but you're just going to take your cabbage and your vegetables and toss it in that vinaigrette. As for any sides after that, we did Chinese noodles, which if you do that route, then you can do, if they're fresh Chinese noodles, all you have to do is blanch them for about 60 seconds in boiling water, and then in a hot skillet, you can toss them in oil. We toss them in oil and a little bit of teriyaki sauce. But you could serve it with rice. You could serve it over, like maybe leafy greens. Any sort of grain, like you can make a Buddha bowl out of it. That would be cool. But lastly, I think, and especially if you go with the noodles, have a little of that braising liquid reserved, nice and hot. Ladle just like a little bit around the bottom of your bowl. It's going to add a nice aromatics, but it's also going to be a little bit of an extra sauce, and it adds so much more flavor to that pork after everything's like nice and hot and cooked. And like finish it with whatever garnish you like. More of that orange glaze. Finish it with like chopped up scallions. We did furikake like for rice seasoning. Really, it's in your ballpark at that point. But yeah, I think it's a relatively simple dish with only one true skill necessary, and that's patience. But I hope you take the opportunity to try it out. And like I said, thanks for following. Like keep on following the page for updates, posts. Hopefully there will be new recipes coming out soon. And like check out the Instagram page. That's where like I post a lot of pictures of my dog and Angie, but also like updates on blog posts and whatnot. Thanks.